Seeing Jack's expression, he added, "It's not bad, I promise you. Their droppings look like little dry straw baskets." Jack looked around. He saw what he thought Master Lee was talking about. It didn't look that bad. "I will be back," said Master Lee. "I am going to get fresh bamboo from the farmer's truck." Master Lee then left through the door at the back of the cage. "Darn," said Jack, "we got no special food here," said Annie. She looked out in the yard, and no panda here either. "I really want to see Bing Bing." "How did this happen?" said Jack. "We should be working on our mission, not stuck in a cage picking up panda poo." Annie giggled. "Don't worry."
Are you okay?
Annie giggled. "Don't worry, we'll leave soon," she said. "Let's just get to do our job first. It's nice to help out here." "Yeah, sure," said Jack. "Sleep fast." Jack and Annie began sweeping up all bamboo stalks and panda droppings. Jack filled the dustpan. As he dumped everything into the trash bin, Annie gasped. "I see her," she whispered. "She's up in that tree."
Great job with the end of chapter 4. So, do you want to give a quick summary of what happened in the end of that chapter?
Master Lee told them to pick up the old bamboo stalks. The panda didn't eat and pick stuff up, and then they were picking it up, and then they saw a panda.
Yeah, okay, great job. Okay, should we start chapter 5? Go ahead.
Annie pulled Jack to the bar that the panda had and pointed out to the yard. "See, over there," she whispered. A giant panda was climbing down the trunk of a maple tree, rump first. She touched the ground, then sat up and raised her head. She was bigger than Jack had expected. Her head was the size of a basketball. "Oh, wow," said Annie. "She's amazing." "Yes, she is," whispered Jack. The giant panda was much more amazing in real life than in photos, Jack thought. She looked like a gigantic stuffed animal that had come alive. Her nostrils quivered as she sniffed the air. Her black ears twitched. "Hello, Bing Bing," Master Lee said. Jack and Annie jumped in surprise. Jack and Annie jumped in surprise. Master Lee pushed a cart loaded with bamboo through the back door of the cage. "Can we go out in the yard and pet Bing Bing?" asked Annie. "Oh, no," said Master Lee. "We always keep our pandas separated from our visitors. They won't hurt you, but we don't want people intruding on their space." "Really?" said Annie. "Pandas are not pets," said Master Lee. "They are wild animals. We want them to live as naturally as possible." "That makes sense," said Annie. She let out a big sigh as she stared at Bing Bing. "It's just that she looks so soft and cuddly." Jack felt sorry for Annie. He knew how badly she wanted to be close to the panda. "At least we get to actually see one," he said. "Now that we have found Bing Bing, I have one more job for you," said Master Lee. He handed each of them clipboards with paper and pencil. I need you to record data that if she stays in view, observe her and write down every sound and movement she makes. Can you do that? Sure.
No, sorry. Do you know what data means?
No.
It's kind of like information. So he wants them to write down like the information about what's happening to her.
Okay. Sure, Jack loves to collect data, said Annie, trying to be cheerful, and I love to watch animals. So you are true scientists. Good, said Master Lee. Now I will get more bamboo. The panda keeper dumped a cart full of bamboo onto the floor, then left Jack and Annie alone. Jack and Annie took off their gloves and observed Bing Bing through the bars. They had their pencils ready to record data. The giant panda didn't pay any attention to them. She sat against the maple tree and scratched her back by rubbing it up and down the trunk. Then she scratched the top of her head with the forepaw and her belly with the hind paw. Annie giggled. Jack
Paw means her back paw.
Okay. Jack scratched his back, head, and belly. The panda raised a paw and scratched her nose. Jack got in his mouth. The panda swatted at a fly to shoo it away. Jack swats fly. Hey, I think she's coming over here, Annie whispered. Bing Bing had stood up. She was staring in Jack and Annie's direction. Then she started moving on all fours with graceful rolling steps. She came right up to the bars of the cage, sat down, and peered at Jack and Annie. Jack held his breath as he read. He felt as if he and Annie were zoo animals, and the panda was a curious visitor observing them. The giant panda titled her large head. Then she covered her eyes with her paws. Oh my gosh, Annie whispered with delight. The panda put her paws down and looked directly at Jack. He stared back into her bright, intelligent eyes. Holding her gaze, he lowered his pencil and clipboard. Jack felt as if he were falling through time. For a moment, the panda wasn't 8 years old. She was 3 million years old. She was filled with wisdom. She knew things he could never understand. He didn't know what to write. Words couldn't possibly capture the wonder of her. I'm back. How are you doing? Asked Master Lee. Jack snapped out of his dreamlike thoughts and turned to the panda keeper. Fine, he said. How unusual that Bing Bing came so close to you, said Master Lee, walking over to them. Did you record her behavior? Silently, Jack and Annie handed him their pencils and clipboards. Annie's paper was blank and only a few words were written on Jack's. Said Master Lee with a smile. Well, if you ever come back, you can observe more. Jack nodded, but he knew he'd observe a lot, only it was more with his heart than his head. You have to go now, said Master Lee. I saw your grandmother headed to the bus with everyone else. I'm surprised she didn't come for you. She's a little forgetful sometimes, said Annie. She turned back to the panda, who was still staring at them. Bye, Bing Bing. Bye, Bing Bing, Jack murmured, looking into the panda's eyes once again. He hated to leave. Their time together had been too short. Hurry, said Master Lee. You don't want to keep the others waiting. Master Lee ushered them out the back door of the cage and along the path.